Welcome everybody to the first episode of the College Sport Pod for the SHM podcast. I'm your host for today, James Rajette, a senior at SHM, and I am joined by.
Aaron Anderson Jr., senior finance major.
He is also a
Temple football player, baby. Go out, baby. Let's get
sir.
it.
First thing, follow us on Instagram at SHM Pod, STHMPOD. For everyone out there, also make sure you check out our first episode. We did an interview with Zach James, who's an SHM alumni, as well as an entrepreneur, hosted, moderated by the wonderful Dr. Garner, as well as the wonderful C. Rivers. Link is in the bio there. And also shout out to the Temple men's and women's basketball team for a fantastic season. Great stretch at the end, and we're just excited to see where they can go from here.
Yep.
Well, so as you all know, Selection Sunday was yesterday, and the stage has been set for March. And everyone always has fun predicting what's going to happen and filling out all these tournament brackets and everything like that. Because March is so unpredictable, you never know what's really going to happen, and we're always waiting for the next upset or just trying to figure out what's going to happen that we really don't expect. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're first going to go through some of the upsets that we have from any of our brackets. Then, after that, we're going to pick two teams from each region to win their region, then work our way down to the national championship. And without
Yeah.
further ado, here we go.
I got a couple surprises in here, man. I don't know they're gonna, you feel me? They're gonna rug me
You,
on that. Mm.
all right. So, first thing we're going to start with is let me know some of your upsets. What are some things that might be shocking that you got for us on this bracket?
Every year it seemed like a two seed always lose to a 15 seed, you know. Um,
Mm,
and I've been going through the bracket, but St. Peter's that's a mob that upset at Purdue, not too long ago. So I would not be surprised if Tennessee took an L.
okay, okay.
Very hot take, I know. But hey, March.
I would not be surprised if Tennessee happened to, take that level against St. Peter's. You know what I'm saying? You never know
Yeah,
when it's March. For
yeah.
me, I think some of my upsets. First one have comes in the West with Grand Canyon University, GCU versus St. Mary's. I do think that GCU is going to come out with the dub. They have a great transfer player. I believe he came from a JUCO or something like that. He was one of the best players in JUCO. Then he ended up going to Kansas, didn't really find any playing time. Had a heart condition, so he had to get surgery multiple times. So just a beautiful story for him. You know what I'm saying? And he's averaging about 20 at this point, so he's a beast. And I just think that they compete really well. They have a great team. The record kind of reflects it. So I think St. Mary's is the fifth seed that's going to lose to the 12th seed.
Oh,
Then another upset I have in the same region is I believe that New Mexico would beat Clemson. A lot of the times this year, I'm a UNC fan. I'll say it right now. I'll put on the bias and everything. Um, a lot of this time this year, Clemson did they beat us? They might have, but a lot of times like when you watch some of their games, they kind of look uninspired. So, and I've never seen that with New Mexico. They got one of the best freshmen in the country in Donovan Dent, then Jalen House, just a beast of a defender, great on ball defender. Was all defense in the conference as well as I think it was all league as well. So I do think that New Mexico does get through Clemson. But other than that, I kind of think that you will find that a lot of the games will go as they should or as expected.
I agree. And you said Jalen House, is that Eddie House son?
That is his son. That is his son.
Uh, I didn't know. I saw a clip on Twitter. I didn't know that was New Mexico. That's crazy though.
Yup, had a crazy game winner. I think in his last game or the game before that. Then
Hmm.
you just see the way he's been like this since high school, but you see the way he plays defense. He's a dog. He's a dog.
I like
But
that.
we're gonna get into who are the two teams that we're thinking are gonna make it out of each region. So we're gonna start in the East.
You want to start? You want me to start? It's up to you.
Let me you can start. You can start for the East now. now, start the next one. So
All
let
right,
me
cool,
know who
cool.
you got.
I think we could both agree on this one. Talking about UConn, defending national champions. I mean, they just always, find a way to go for number one seed for a reason. One of the best teams in the country. So I got them advancing. And I got Iowa State advancing as well. I just like the way they've been playing this year. I'm not gonna lie. When I do tune in, I got a chance to tune in. They, I like the team.
You and I both have agreed on the East. I do think it's going to be UConn, of course. UConn's the best team in the country, really. Really don't have too many like bad losses. I think they lost against Kansas, but all the teams they really lost to were like pretty good. So you know, I do think they kind of just get through the East pretty easily. And I do think that Iowa State ends up, winning the East as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see Auburn, get through UConn a little bit. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Auburn kind of gets that upset. You know,
That's
Auburn's a very well coached team. They got some great talent. I think they can match UConn a little bit. So we gotta see. But
that's
I
all.
do think it's going to be UConn Iowa State
Okay, I agree.
for sure. For
I
sure.
agree.
Next, we're going to go to
You
the
take
West. Now, the West has a lot of competition as well, but I think here for me, I gotta go North Carolina versus Arizona. I mean, what better story, right? What better story? Caleb Love, the
well.
former UNC guard, had a great tournament 2 years ago. Transferred, didn't have the best season like last year. Fans kind of, you know, hated on him a little bit. So I think he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder for North Carolina. You know what I'm saying?
So as a UNC fan that you are, and I can ask you a quick question real quick. So are you rooting for Caleb Love to advance, that far, at least to the Elite Eight?
I am indeed rooting for Caleb Love to get to the Elite Eight just so that he can lose to North Carolina. That's what
Okay.
that's what I'm hoping for. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I
Okay.
think it's going to be a real competitive game. You get to see RJ versus Caleb, two of the best guards in the country. Really, probably like two of the top five guards in the country. Both get buckets, both score very well, and I just think that you know, this is that's what it's going to be. I think these are the two best teams, the 1 and 2 seed. I think this is where you kind of get the predictability of it. So I think the West is definitely controlled by UNC and Arizona. What you thinking?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm really rooting for that plot. I really want to see that game. That'd be a good game to tune into. I wouldn't be surprised if Baylor, defeats Arizona as well. Oh no,
Yeah,
Nevada be making it far sometimes too. So that second round matchup, Nevada, I got Nevada to be defeating Dayton.
yeah.
Just my opinion. But I do agree. Arizona, North Carolina,
Yeah, Arizona always finds some way to like lose in an attorney
that's
somehow, some way.
crazy.
But and if they do lose, I think it will be the New Mexico. New Mexico. Feel me? But we just gonna have to see. That's what March is about. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but North Carolina, Arizona, that's what we got.
Yeah.
All right. Heading on to the Midwest. So I think this is probably one of the most competitive regions. We have a lot of good teams, a lot of powerful offenses here. So who do you think is going the two teams that's going to make it out in the Midwest?
Like I said earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if St. Peter's defeat Tennessee. So if that is the case, I do have Creighton and I have Gonzaga. Gonzaga always find a way to make it, to the 10 Elite Eights. They always lose somehow,
Yeah,
in the big game, but it's crazy. But Creighton, that's a good team, man. A great conference. In my opinion, I got them. I really do got them advanced to the Elite Eight.
after a lot of like consideration, at first I had Purdue versus Tennessee, but I do think I gotta agree with you on this one. When I'm
Mhm.
looking back at the stats, even though Purdue has the National Player of the Year in Zach Edey, and they have pretty good guard play. Gonzaga and Purdue aren't too far off when it comes to like, their offensive stats, their defensive stats, and it's a perfect matchup. Honestly, they kind of
Right.
match equally in overall efficiency. Gonzaga has slightly better defense, and they also score a little bit more off the bench. So I do think Gonzaga finds a way to upset Purdue. I don't think it would be that much of an upset because it's still Gonzaga, but
Right.
I do think they will get the national player up out of there, make them prepare for the NBA draft a little earlier.
Yeah, facts.
Then Kratom, they take a lot of shots, take a lot of threes, make a lot of them. Just a great offense. So Gonzaga and Kratom.
Yeah.
Then
I
moving
think
on, you said what?
I didn't think he was gonna agree with me on that one.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I kind of like it because I have Tennessee losing to Texas,
Mm.
so I do think that I have Creighton beating Texas. So I do think that Gonzaga Gonzaga Creighton will be the be the matchup.
Okay.
And finally, moving on to the South. So for the South, I personally have Houston versus Kentucky. Houston, one of the best defenses in the country. Then they have a former Temple Owl and Damian Nuss, so I'm always going to root for them. Then Kentucky, one of the a very, very young team, but just a bunch of buckets. You feel me? You got Rob Dillingham off the bench. You got Reed Shepard coming in, working his way into possibly being a lottery pick. You have DJ L. You have DJ Wagner. Then you have Justin Edwards. They used to have Antonio Reeves at the one. So it's just a bunch of scoring. And I just think it's gonna be tough for any other team to like kind of get through. So what you thinking about the South? What you have here?
Um, yeah, we're going to disagree on this one, buddy. Like you said, there is a lot of buckets. Marshalls, they just too young. I don't think they really got that. Even though they're dogs, don't get me wrong, they are dogs. They buckets, a lot of lottery picks. I don't have Kentucky, man. I got Texas Tech, then I got Duke. Texas Tech always find a
Mm,
way. You feel me? You want to see? I used to be a Duke fan before I came to Temple, so um, Texas Tech. Oh, well, I'm still a Duke fan, but Texas Tech always find a way to go deep in the march. Every year it seems like. I do got them advancing Duke. I think they got a chip on their shoulder. They got something to prove. I love Houston. That's a gritty team right there. That's a gritty team. They hustle, get rebounds. They do everything right. Well coached team, but I think Duke got something to prove this year, man. So I got Texas Tech and Duke.
I keep it real. I really don't even think Duke is gonna get through Wisconsin, honestly. And if they do, and if they do happen to get through Wisconsin, they're definitely not getting through USAC. They just don't got that. I mean, you seen what happened when they played the Tar Heels. They don't got that. Whenever the pressure on, whenever the defense come at them, they can't handle great defense. You feel me? They don't got that dog in them. I'm sorry. The players just
They
don't got.
got
They
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 got
got a bunch of great players, but they just don't got that. It's just something about them that just don't yell Elite Eight. It don't give me Elite Eight vibes.
they too historic,
It
man.
really
It's
gave me it really gave me
hard.
first round exit vibes. They might lose
Whoa,
to Vermont. Really,
whoa.
they might lose to Vermont.
You're
But
now you're tweaking. Different. No, I don't see that at all. You just a UNC fan, like you biased. You don't like Duke. Like that's the only
no,
reason you
real
said.
real talk though, they're not making it past not making it past. I mean, they're not
No,
making it past Houston. You know what I mean?
that's what we'll see, right?
Yeah. So you said it's going to be Texas Tech versus Duke. I
Texas
got
Tech.
Houston, Kentucky. So
Yeah.
let me know who your Final Four is.
All right, bet. So I'm going with UConn. I'm gonna go with UConn. Ah,
Don't
that's
don't
I,
let the don't let that inner Dookie affect what you about to
that's
say
I
here.
don't want to say it. I am gonna go with UNC. I'm going with UNC. They well-rounded team, man. They got their two core pieces together, Mondo Bekai and RJ Davis. I got Texas Tech being Duke, so I ain't biased. I got Texas Tech being Duke. I keep it real. Then I got Creighton, being Gonzaga,
And being Gonzaga. Okay,
UConn, Creighton, Texas Tech, and what's my last name? And North Carolina. Yeah, I forgot about them already.
crazy. You can't forget them. Can't forget about them. I definitely like that Final Four. I think that's a competitive Final Four. Um, Ours is kind of similar in a way. Only got one different team, which is of course Houston. I think it's going to be Houston, Creighton. Um, then on the other side, I do think it's going to be UConn versus North Carolina. UConn, of course, like mentioned before, just a great overall team. They brought a lot of pieces back. Just a very well coached team. Then you can never really bet against them. Then North Carolina, of course, just being all the games that I've seen and watched, it's just something about them this year. Like their defense is just, it just it just went up a level for some reason. You feel me? I don't know what Hubert Davis said to the team after last season, which was a super disappointing season. So disappointing that we got invited to NIT, didn't even want to take it. So I think they just came
Yeah, I
out.
made the tournament last season.
Hmm? No,
I made the tournament last
no, no, we did not.
season.
They invited the team to NIT. They said we're not an NIT team. We are not NIT capital. Cap. We are way better than that. That's what they said. So,
All right,
but it's going to be
man.
a great battle, especially between the big men. You got Baycott down there. Um, Probably one of the best big men in the country. He was all defensive AAC, so he's bringing that to the table. He's expanded his game a lot. Got a lot of post hooks. I do think he might show a little bit more in the tournament that we really haven't seen, but only time will tell. And on the other side, you got Houston Creighton. Houston's guards are just they're dogs, especially Jamal Sneed. I mean, then I just think Coach Sampson, he just has a way of winning. You know what I'm saying? He's a winner. He always brings his team, very close. So I do think they might it's a chance they get over the hump. So who are your wants to be in the championship game?
Okay. So I got UConn over UNC. That's not really debatable to me. but the Texas Tech and Creighton, that one, I gotta think a little more. I don't know. Like when the last time we saw two teams in the same conference that made the national championship against each other?
I don't know. It's been
I'm
a
not sure. I'm not sure. I don't think it was recent though.
yeah.
So, but I am leaning towards Creighton versus UConn. I'm leaning towards Creighton versus UConn.
Okay. Okay. So
I want to hear this.
it
I want to hear this.
it hurts my heart to say. It really does. But this is where the bias ends. I'm not gonna lie. I do think UConn will beat North Carolina. They beat them at the beginning of the season. A lot has changed since then. UConn really hasn't changed much. North Carolina has changed a lot, and the fact that just the way they play and the grittiness that they started playing with, and they're getting back to that old North Carolina rebound and runaway. But I just think UConn just has the better team. They have a better production off the bench. UNC's top scorers really are only their starters. So I do think it's a tough matchup. It's a tough matchup, but I'm a I'm gonna take the objective route here. I'm gonna go UConn. Then Creighton versus Houston. I gotta go Houston. So the people in my championship game who I think are gonna make it is gonna be UConn versus Houston. So who wins it all?
Like the last time we saw a team go back to back was what the Gators, Florida, with like the Joakim Noah and Al
Yeah,
Horford.
it was a long time ago.
Hmm. They split in the season too, 1-1. I'm not
Mhm.
sure they played in the tournament, did they? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
think so. But you know, I'm gonna go UConn back to back. You know, I don't. It hasn't been done in a long time. Why not make it another, history?
Yeah,
Great team.
I think the trend continues where you do not have a back-to-back winner this year. I got to go Houston. Houston just um, the defense is just different. You know what I'm saying? I think UConn has a very good offense, but just looking at some of the stats here, um, Houston has a about a 90% opponent efficiency, so they really don't let their other team score a lot, and UConn has around 99, so they give up a good amount of points. The other teams are usually pretty well against them. UConn has the better overall efficiency. Then I think it might come down to a lot of the bench points. Um, 24% of Houston points come from the bench. Only 20 comes from UConn, which seems it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you get into the tourney, you're playing all these games. Fatigue starts to set in, so you kind of have to rely on your bench a little bit. And I think if um, Houston's bench can perform well against the second unit for UConn, I think they have a chance. They get more offensive rebounds than they get, you know, more overall second chance points only by like 1%, a bit of a margin. But I think it's Houston here. I think it's
I'm not
Houston.
mad at that. I'm not mad at that. That's a
Very,
great
very
team.
close game. If I had to assume, it's going to be something like 75, 72 Houston,
Mm,
72 UConn.
okay. I
Yeah,
like that. I ain't mad at that pick at all. Like I like Houston. They just don't win. You feel me?
yeah,
Like
they have been selling these. They always make it there. They always get to the Final Four, but somehow they just can't get over the hump. But this year I think it happens. You know what I'm saying? Maybe in a way that shouldn't really be an upset because they're both one seeds, but people just assume that UConn is just this team that's just so far and above everybody else. Um, and I just think that that comes to an end at a championship game when they play Houston. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
like it.
overall, it was all our predictions there. Um, yeah, yeah, it's I can't wait to see everything that's about to go on. Everything starts tomorrow. You have Howard versus Wagner. Shout out to the HBCUs. You know what I'm saying? You got Grambling versus Montana State. Once again, shout out to the HBCUs. You got Virginia versus Colorado. Then you got Virginia versus Colorado State. You got Colorado versus Boise State. So, tomorrow really locks in everything that's going to be in the brackets. Then another day from there, we got the first round. So,
Mhm.
it's always a exciting time when March comes. You know what I'm saying? It's always everything just seems a lot better. The life world just seems a lot happier when, March Madness comes around. Of course, you're not
No,
happy
no.
when your team loses, but you know,
Yeah, facts. That's facts.
it just seems
Man,
like the energy is just always there. And I'm very excited, very, very excited to see what the women are going to do this year. The intrigue for the women's sports, the women's college sports, especially women's basketball, has just increased, especially from last year, but everything that went on. So I think, it's an exciting time. I might be a little bit excited to see what the women's tournament has to offer. You know what I'm saying?
no, facts. 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 It's a lot of potential big mega matchups.
Man,
Yeah,
man,
LSU and Iowa on the same side of the bracket. So
boy. Like you got all these big stars. Of course, you got Angel Reese. You got Caitlin Clark, who's arguably the best women's college basketball player of I think maybe all time at this point. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Maybe all
maybe
time. My favorite
definitely
personal
debate.
player is Maya Moore, but Caitlin Clark is the number. You can't beat numbers. You know what I'm saying? You can't beat statistics. So yeah, then you got the up and coming Juju Watkins. She is
Eggs.
a bucket. You feel me? It's man, I don't know. It's something different about her. and USC just came in and shocked everybody. So it's a very exciting time. We can't wait. We're gonna be tuned in. We're gonna be watching the games, updating everything. Hopefully our brackets don't get shot. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like every year, first round, the brackets always just having to just go downhill. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Don't forget about number 12 either from South Carolina, the women's, the
Number 12.
freshman.
So, oh yeah, Malaysia Pool Valley.
Yeah,
Ooh, she's a
she a dog.
man.
She a
She's
dog.
she's different. You feel me? She had MVP of their tournament. And from the game that I seen of South Carolina versus LSU, the scuffling, the trash talk, everything around it, man, I cannot wait. I
Yeah.
cannot. It's gonna be a great time. You know what I'm saying? But this was the first of many episodes. We can't wait to come back. You know, come back and bring more content, update you all on what our brackets are looking like, how accurate are we, and whenever you decide to listen to this, if you listen to this now, in the car, compare your brackets to ours. You know what I'm saying? Do you think we have a better bracket than us? Probably not. No, it's just how it is. But if you do think you have a better bracket than ours, let us know. Always comment it. Um, Another reminder: follow us on Instagram. Hit us up on social media.
Yeah.
STHMPOD at STHM Pod. Then, you know, just let us know what you want from us. Then we there we go. Anything else you got to say?
Man, shout out to Alves, man. Shout out Temple. Shout out my bro for inviting me to this podcast, Zoom call, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure, but definitely had fun making predictions with my brother. Yeah.
Always, man. Shout out to Owls, of course. Can't wait to see what Temple football has in store this upcoming winter. A lot of transfers. You know what I'm saying? Seems like it's some good energy around
Yeah.
the campus, good energy surrounding, really all the Temple sports at this point. Seems like the potential's going up. You know what I'm saying? So we can't wait. We can't wait for everything, man.
Yep.
Hope to see you again. Hope to have you back on here very soon. You know,
Sure.
and good luck on everything that's going on. And
Vice
yeah,
versa.
see you all later, man.
Peace.